agree with you that the entire way that men and women interact with each other in the West is dysfunctional. I agree 100% with you, actually.
What's the solution in your view, brother?
Well, so I think there's two ways to go about it. You know, I think the green pill is a very valid way to deal with it, where you go through it with the Islamic lens, which I think obviously Islam solves a lot of problems. Yeah, of course. You know, it definitely does.
Should've came to the masjid with us today, man.
Hey, man, I was handling things behind the scenes with the gym in here.
It was working. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, and I will definitely, you know, I know some of you guys are probably wondering about this. Yeah, I grew up in a Muslim family. A lot of you guys know this. I will definitely go back to the deen, but when I come back, it's going to be 100% on point. I don't want to do it for, you know, oh, I want to just do this because it's like, you know, it's cool. It's like, no, I want to do this. Like, I want to make sure if I come back to the deen, I'm doing it for real. But what I will say, though, is, yeah, the Islamic way to go about it is absolutely, you know, optimal. But the thing is, I'm looking at it when I'm going to dispense advice to the majority of guys out there. What I say is like, okay, is everyone going to go ahead and convert to Islam? No. Is everyone going to go ahead and take the Islamic lens to it? Probably not. So what I say is, okay, since most of you guys are not going to do that, this is some advice to kind of deal with the shitty situation, right? Like, it sucks. This is what it is. This is a dating marketplace. It's a cesspool, but this is how you navigate it in the best way to mitigate risk. There's always going to be the risk. You are definitely going to come out of this dirty to some degree. You're going to have some mud on you.
The more numbers, the more risk. People need to understand that.
You're going to have mud on you at the end of this, but my goal is to get you in a situation where you have mud on you, but you're in a leveraged position in a relationship. The girl respects you. She admires you. You're the one that she's chasing, and you're going to have to go through the mud to do it, but this is the best way to do it in the West. Or, you know, the passport bro movement is huge. A lot of guys are leaving altogether and going to other places where the women are just more traditionally feminine and the women behave more like women, which is a valid response. I'm not necessarily a passport bro, but I see that why the need is there and why it's exploded over the past 5 to 10 years. You know, it used to be like a little nuanced thing. Roosh used to write the books, hey, bang Colombia, bang Ukraine, bang blah, blah, blah. You know, it's kind of like a sub-culture thing. But it's out there now. Like, the whole passport movement, it's out there, it's here, it's alive. And guys are coming, you know, Medellin is going through gentrification right now. The Philippines, Thailand, so many guys, Ukraine before it became a war-torn. There's still a bunch of guys there anyway. So it's a thing, and I think a lot of guys are waking up and realizing, okay, I got 3 options. I can either go with religion, whether it's through Islam or Christianity, and find a woman and go use that lens, or I can adapt to the dating marketplace in the West and use these red pill tactics or whatever you want to say to deal with it and kind of deal in the cesspool. Or 3, I can move somewhere where the women have different values. And it's going to be easier for me to find a girl that's going to be on my program. And that's the 3 ways that I've seen guys kind of adapt. But I think it's fucked regardless. But yeah, the Western way of relationships, I agree, it's fucked up.
And it's but if you get married, if you get in a relationship too young, I think the main problem in a relationship is a woman thinking that she's equal to the man that she's with. I think we could all agree on that.
Yeah.
And traditionally,
that's the root of the problem.
Traditionally, you can't really talk about this or advocate for this, but like the ideal marriage is traditionally would be like the woman is 16, 17, and she's getting married to somebody who's in their late 20s. But you can't talk about that anymore. You can't. They say that a girl could start her OnlyFans at 18, but if a girl gets married young, that she's getting trapped. She's getting trapped. Why is she liberated if she starts an OnlyFans, gets an Instagram, or she's getting ran through in relationships, she's partying, she's taking drugs at a young teenage age? But if she gets married for some reason, it's a terrible thing. That is probably the best solution for a lot of for most women. But she needs to be with a man that she can look up to and respect in a way. So you need to be older. Like that's the truth that you can't really talk about.
Good point.
You need to be older. So I'm 24. It's like if I want to be with a girl who's maybe 5 years younger than me, that would be ideal, because if I get married now, 10, 15, 20 years from now, I'm going to look at her like, you're kind of getting old. Even though I'm older, she's like kind of wrinkly. Like, it's just, and then there's going to be that genuine burning desire is going to fade. So if you look at the numbers, if you look at it from a business perspective, the ideal relationship, if you're looking for longevity, is I'm 32 and I get married to an 18-year-old. And then 20, 30 years on, she's like, even though she's starting to get a couple like little crow's feet.
Come on, what's wrong with you, misogynist?
Well, it is what it is.
Why do you need an 18-year-old?
But it's not just physical. It's not just physical. Women emotionally mature pretty quick. You think of like most dudes when they're in their 20s, they're driven.
Anything that walks.
Yeah. Whereas a woman typically will be more socially and emotionally intelligent at an earlier age. So there is an argument too. It's not just about the physical piece. Yeah. There is an argument for a bit of a healthy age difference. And also, I think a good reason to have an age difference is if you, as a man, you're a 22-year-old man, you marry a 22-year-old woman, she's going to walk all over you. Yeah. They've got it together in terms of their frame control even at an earlier age than men. I think an age gap is very healthy.
It's like Myron talks about. They need to be coachable, guidable. Yeah. And the younger girls are just more naturally to fall into that frame.
Because they've got the value. Who's got more value, a 22-year-old man or a 22-year-old woman?
Wisdom, Why wouldn't you want, from a girl's perspective, why wouldn't you want to date a guy that has more experience, more wisdom to share with you, help you navigate life?
Who you can submit to, who you can view as a leader.
Experience, just like.
And let's talk to that a bit, because this is something, and I'm really glad you brought this up, Sneako. I think one of the root cause of a lot of issues is there's not an established framework in the relationship where the man is a leader and the woman is a follower.
Green pill fixes this.
The guy thinks that him and his girl are equal, and a lot of times it stems from a similar age situation. But when you're significantly older than your girl, 10 years plus, etc., you have some life experience. She could look up to you. She's like, damn, okay, this guy has his shit together. So she's automatically going to respect you more just by you being more mature and older than her. And if you have the money on top of it, the experience, etc. I think 30 years old, right? 30, 32, 33 years old with an 18-year-old is awesome. But in the West, they'll tell you that's terrible. You're a pedophile. You're an asshole.
But Jay-Z, Beyonce, look at them. He was 33 and Beyonce was 19. They don't really analyze that because, but that has the best longevity in a relationship.
It does.
That's why you're saying green pill, but I think you need to be an incel for like 10 years so that you can focus on your craft at becoming a man. Because without life experience, she's not going to be able to look up to you. I agree that you need to have sort of a hierarchy in the relationship where you need to be able to lead, but you don't know how to be a leader if you don't have life experience. If you haven't gone through trials and tribulations, if you haven't struggled enough. So as long as you're being an autistic incel for 10 years and you're able to go and grind and figure out life, then you're going to be able to be in a position finally, okay, now I'm ready to get married. I've been an incel long enough and I can have
Volcel.
I agree with both of you. I agree with both of you.
I think the bottom line that we all have here is that you need to be in the leadership role, and we pretty much all agree that age is one of the biggest cornerstones of that leadership role, because with the age comes the wisdom, the experience, the money, the stability.
It takes time to build value as a man.
Yeah, but here's the scary part though. Like young guys, especially in the West, right, or men in general in the West, are told, don't get with, like, you should get a girl on your level at your age, etc. I think that's one of the biggest lies we tell men is go ahead and get with a girl. You're 30 years old, go get with another 30-year-old woman because she's experienced. And I'm like, no, fuck that shit. Get a younger woman who you can go ahead and leave an impression on. And I think
also
it's
in
important.
Her prime. At 30, you're in your prime. She in her prime at her 30.
And also the other thing is too, look, I know a lot of men who are volcels or, have really limit their interactions with women. They focus on their mission. They're fulfilled in life. I think a man's primary objective is to be fulfilled in mission.
I agree.
I do not see women who are fulfilled from mission, whereas the women who I know who are most fulfilled in life, they've found a man they respect and they've submitted to him. They still have work, but it's not their primary thing. Their primary thing is the relationship, the house, and in order to be fulfilled as a woman, you need to be able to respect your man. If your man is the same age as you, it's going to be hard to really submit to him and follow him and respect him as your leader because, well, he's a kid.
The woman's mission is the family.
Well said.
The man's mission is, earning money and, maybe some, changing the world, fighting the matrix, things like that. Some type, something goes beyond money.
External conquest, out of the house conquest in the house.
Purpose, conquest, and then I think the woman's mission is, the kids, maybe fitness, gym, staying is
caring for a man, submitting. I swear, all the women I know who are most fulfilled in life have found a man they respect and they have submitted to him. Doesn't mean they're not strong, doesn't mean they're not well educated, doesn't mean they don't have work, but the primary thing is they've found a man they respect and they've submitted to him. That is where I see female fulfillment.
A submissive woman, I think, is actually stronger than these stupid ass women that run around and say they're strong and independent, because submission means that you're choosing to do it. You're choosing to relinquish that power because you have the skill set and the ability to identify it and turn it over to an individual who you know is more capable.
And live in a partnership instead of trying to be some boss bitch. And man, feminism ages women hard. I can see someone who's a long-term feminist because they look 10 years older than they should be. Trying to be a boss bitch and running yourself is very tiring for women. Those stress hormones will manifest physically over the years. What was that Harry Potter lady?
J.K. Rowling.
No, not her. Not the wow, feminism hit her hard, bro. It's a dangerous thing for women. Women, if you want to stay beautiful, reject feminism, be submissive, find a good, high-value, caring man to look after you.
Ages them, it also turns their hair blue.
Yes, but I mean, the Holy Book's got it right that the feminine nature does not exist without masculine nature. So if she's going to be able to be what she thinks is a boss bitch, she's going to end up submitting her femininity to her boss or to the whatever political structure, the CEO of that company. If she's going to be on OnlyFans, she's basically submitting to the people that run the porn industry. You're always submitting to some masculine essence, and objectively, it's better for a woman to submit to a man that loves and cares about her and wants to give her a family. Or when she's younger, she's going to be looking up to her father. And if she doesn't have that masculine balance, that's when the woman becomes corrupted, and that's when she starts to bite the apple. That's when Satan comes through the woman first. It's not the man. The woman is really the one bringing the jinn. They're corrupting without some sort of good masculine balance. It's extremely important.
I agree. And And I like that point that you mentioned, that at some point she's going to have to submit to a masculine authority. Might as well be the father of your children versus a corporation that doesn't care about you.
Doesn't care at all.
You know what I mean? It's funny to me because women say, I'm empowered, I'm empowered, I'm empowered. But what are you doing really when you're an OnlyFans girl? You're showing your butthole to a bunch of men, right? Does that actually make you empowered? I don't know. Versus you could have been showing that butthole to your man, having some dignity, have a family, be happy to do it, not be disgusted. Because you look at all these women that are sex workers, we have them on the show, they're all miserable. They hate their life. Strippers, dude, their life is literally in shambles. Like, no girl can do sex work long term.
There's definite correlation. It could be causation. There could be, you know, choose the boss bitch path in life, you will be unfulfilled. Have any of you ever met a boss bitch feminist type who's actually happy and attractive and just a nice person to be around?
No.
And she just has her career.
No, off a man. That's the only time she can crack a smile.
It's because they're living a lie.
Yeah,
because
it doesn't work. It's
they
not real.
call themselves independent boss queens, but they're always in control by some man. It's like when you see the prostitutes out in Colombia, there's always a pimp behind the scenes. When you see the girl who's working in an office and she's wearing the Hillary Clinton suit vest, she's submitting to the CEO of the company. There's always some masculine authority who's in charge of her. Even these OnlyFans girls, and they're the ones who think that they're independent the most because I got my bag by myself. You're sending your butthole to the CEO of this company. She is submitting to the guy, the OnlyFans creator. That's your dad now. That's your husband. Whoever, this guy behind the phone who created these apps, like that's who is in control of you.
And all the weirdos that she sends video to get extra charge. You know
They
what I mean?
own you.
Yeah.
So that's why they're unhappy, because they convince themselves that they're independent, but they're not. They're the most dependent creatures. They're little leeches. They're little Satan's
Dependent on
creatures
simps.
latching on to good people. Yeah.